You got the problem? Well, I got the solutions. How many of you vapors watching right now have a leaky sub-ohm tank? Been there, done that. You fill it up, it leaks. You fill it up, it leaks. You just want to throw the damn thing out the window. You're losing juice. You're losing money. Well, here's the good news. I got 7 solutions to prevent 99% of the leaking issues that you're having right now with your sub-ohm tank, and I'm going to show you those 7 solutions right now. Oh yeah, 7 solutions to prevent a leaky vape from your sub-ohm tank, and I'm going to be showing you the Big Baby Beast by Smock when going over the 7 solutions because this is probably the most sold sub-ohm tank in the world right now. This and the Baby Beast, but this is straight out of the packaging, brand new Big Baby Beast, guys. In the packaging, you're going to receive an extra baggie of O-rings and gaskets, and you want to keep this in a safe place. You never want to throw these away because you may need them. Alrighty, so first solution to prevent a leaky sub-ohm tank, you got to make sure that all your O-rings and your gasket are in the correct place. If they're not, if you're missing an O-ring or a gasket, it's not going to complete that vacuum and you're going to have leaking. So when you get this sucker out of the box, you got to make sure that all O-rings and gaskets are in the correct place. So let's go ahead and check that now. Go ahead and pop the top cap, and inside there at the top you should have a gasket and it should be flush. And you should have a single beefy O-ring around the top right there, and there should be a single O-ring at the bottom of the shaft section right there. So an O-ring here, an O-ring here, and then you got your gasket in here. Tank slides off like so, and you should have an O-ring down here embedded into the base. Go ahead and unscrew the coil head, and at the base of that coil head, you should have one single O-ring at the top of the threads, and then an insulator. Here's the inside of the base, no O-rings. So you got 1 O-ring, 2 O-rings, 3rd O-ring, 4th O-ring, and then a gasket. And then you got 2 O-rings at the base of the drip tip. And when you go to screw everything back together, it should be completely sealed. Tight and sealed, guys. Again, you want to have that complete vacuum. So again, from this section to this section, inside here, you should have 4 O-rings, at least with this Big Baby Beast by Smock. And then again, in here, in the top cap, you should have 1 gasket. And that leads me to the second solution. When you go to fill this sucker up and close it, you cannot leave it like that. If you leave it like that open, you're not going to have that complete vacuum and you're going to have leaking. So you got to push down on the top cap and push in, and it locks into place. It's all about having that complete seal and that complete vacuum in here. As long as you have a complete vacuum, you're not going to have leaking. Third solution, you got to make sure there's no cracks in the tank section. None. If there's 1 crack, you could have leaking. Good thing is, with this tank, they include an extra one. So if you do have a crack, you can replace it. Fourth solution, and this leads me back to the coil head, you got to make sure that you do not cross the threads. Got to be gentle. These threads are not the smoothest. They're very clean, but they're not the smoothest. They're really fine. You got to be gentle with it. So when you go to screw it in, make sure it sits flat. Screw it in gently. Nice and tight, and make sure it sits straight. There's been so many times where I've seen people screw it in, they've crossed the threads, and the coil head sits crooked. And again, if it sits crooked, it's not going to complete the vacuum. It's going to leak, and you may not get a solid connection. So make sure that the coil head sits flush, it's straight, and it's all the way screwed in. Fifth solution, another crucial solution, you got to make sure that your coil heads are primed up. You got to make sure that the cotton is completely saturated with the juice. And what I do, if you want to go to an extreme, I've got a little canister filled up with juice, and all I do, I can either juice it from the top using my unicorn bottle or my dropper. But if I don't want to wait, and I want all my cotton completely saturated, which it has to be, I'll just drop it in face first in this canister of juice. Let it sit for a good minute. Let that cotton soak up all the juice. Yes, this is an extreme measure, but there's a lot of people that do not want to wait. They want to pop this sucker in their sub-ohm tank and go. And if that cotton is just a little dry, not completely saturated, you could burn some of that cotton in there. And if you burn some of that cotton, it's going to change the density of that cotton. And if that cotton in the coil head is not as thick as when you first got it, it's probably going to leak. And this has got to be the biggest issue I've seen newbies take. They don't juice up their coil head enough. They go to fire it up, not knowing, they burn the cotton a little bit, and then it starts leaking, and then they blame it on the coil head. User error. You got to make sure that the cotton is completely saturated. So I'll pull this sucker out, and as you guys can see, it is completely saturated. And I'll go ahead and take this excess juice that I put in the canister and pour it back into my bottle of juice, so I'm not wasting any liquid. And anything left over, I can pull out with a syringe and pop it back into my bottle. That way, again, you're not wasting any of your e-liquid. So again, she's completely saturated. We're going to go ahead and screw her back into the base. Be gentle with those threads. Oh yeah, make sure you're gentle with these threads too. When you screw it in, that it screws in straight. If it's crooked like that, or you cross those threads, again, it could leak. Completely tight. All this stuff is redundant, guys. With vaping, there is a lot of maintenance. You got to be very detail oriented. Pop the top cap open and then fill her up. And again, when you go ahead and close the top cap, push down and make sure it locks into place. Number 6, to prevent leaking, do not leave this in your hot car. If you leave it in your car that's hot, it's gonna thin out the e-liquid and the e-liquid's gonna try to find a way to escape and it will leak. Hot places are not good for vape products. Airplanes are not good for vape products because of the pressure. Pressure will force the e-liquid out. And the 7th and final solution to prevent leaking for your Sub-Ohm tank, late at night when I'm done vaping, I'll take this sucker off my mod and I'll pop it on a paper towel upside down. And in the morning when you go to take this off, if you have like a drop of juice down here, that's okay. Oh yeah, vape heaven, you gotta love it. So yeah, follow these solutions, make sure that you cover all the details. Again, you gotta have a complete vacuum in the center. If you don't have a complete vacuum, you're gonna have leaking. I keep repeating myself, but I'm doing that because I want you guys to have a great vape experience. I don't want you guys to have leaking issues. Follow those solutions I just showed you, and you're gonna kill 99% of your leaking issue problems that you're having with your Sub-Ohm tanks. Guarantee it. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, liked it, found it entertaining and helpful. If you did like this video, well then like it down below. And if you want to see more of me, subscribe for more. This is Rip Trippers, and remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future is now.